Welcome to Read It and Screech,
the podcast for Taryn Fisher. Thank you for accepting the darkness in people as much as you accept their light. Damn, Taryn.
This is Read It and Screech, the plot summary podcast. If you're too loud and have no standards, you can come sit with us. I'm Grace. This is my co-host, Eva. If you'd like to support, you can rate, review, and subscribe. We are on TikTok at ScreecherPod. The book we're covering this week, are you ready? I was kind of afraid that you would figure out what it was. Or that
Taryn Fisher didn't give it to me.
We're reading Verity. I'm summarizing Verity for you. I read it. You're going to screech about it. It is 333 pages, 8 hours and 10 minutes. Listening to it, the narrator was fine. No spit. It has 4.3 stars on Goodreads.
Out of how many?
4.3 out of 5.
Oh.
How did we get this far before you asked what the star scale was on Goodreads?
I don't know.
4.3 out of 4.3. That's actually the best you can get is 4.3 stars. It's first person point of view with intermittent cuts of a memoir sliced in through it. And I'll do like I normally do, where I'll give you the majority of one. We'll move to the second one. And then when they converge, we'll go from there. There are 3 main characters. We have Lowen. She's in her early 30s. She's a small-time author, introverted. Her mom recently passed away, leaving her no money and no prospects.
Oh my God.
She is played by Dakota Johnson. We have Verity. She's in her early 40s. She's the opposite of Lowen. She's a world-famous author.
Everyone's an author?
Verity is in a vegetative state following a mysterious car crash. She is played by Charlize Theron. Then we have Jeremy. He is in his mid-40s. He is Verity's husband, and he is played by Ben Affleck.
Is he the other girl's dad?
Lowen is in her 30s.
Oh, they're not related.
No, not yet. So I'll start with Verity's point of view, and then we'll work up from there. So it starts off, Verity is writing her own autobiography. She is not like other girls, so she wants to write an autobiography that is authentic and that showcases her darker parts instead of just painting herself in a good light. It starts off with her talking about how she met Jeremy. She went to a fancy gala trolling for Rich Peen. Ew. This is where she meets Jeremy. He is not fancy, nor is he rich, but he is a hot.
So she didn't get any of the things on her list.
No, but he's hot and he has a ready to fuck. So they are instantly smitten with each other. They are literally obsessed with each other. He very quickly gets transferred to another state.
What does he do?
Real estate.
Hey, so you don't get transferred for real estate.
Well, he did. It was for a short time. Like, he was with a firm and he had to go somewhere else for a while. She starts writing in his absence to pass the time. And so that's where she got her start as an author.
Before?
No.
Oh, what was she doing before?
Trolling for Peen. Yeah.
Her whole life?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Jeremy does this really weird thing where he'll say serious things while they are in the throes of passion.
Oh.
So he asks her to move in with him mid-thrust.
Oh.
And then he proposes to her while they're in the middle of sex. So he just likes to take that opportunity to make life choices. So the day that he asks her to marry him, they're in the middle of sex, and she thinks it's just the best day of her life. But then instead of that becoming the day that he asked her to marry him, it becomes the day that they conceived their first child. And she's very upset about that.
Me too.
She's very upset that it got overshadowed with the kid. So now she's pregnant, and she's not very happy about it. But at least her tits look good. Turns out it's twins. And she's horrified. So she tries to induce a miscarriage because she's so upset about her body will look after she has the babies. She tries to do an at-home abortion and it doesn't work. She wants to have a miscarriage.
And she's writing about this because she's proud that she's like laying it out there.
Yeah.
She's like, by the way, I'm a bitch. Here's the stuff. I got the goods. Like,
She wants to have a miscarriage in the bed so that Jeremy will feel bad and dote on her after.
I hate it. I hate it so bad. I would have never chosen to ever consume this media. This is horrific.
I told you that's my trick. If it's in the podcast, it's fair game. She has the babies. The abortion doesn't take.
Apparently not.
One of the girls ends up with a scar on her cheek, and Verity thinks it's because of the abortion that she tried to do.
Up there?
Yes. She hates being a twin mom, and even though Jeremy helps a lot, she still hates it. She starts pretending to like be a good mom when he's home, but then she ignores the girls all day long.
This is a wretched person.
Oh yeah. She barely feeds them or anything when he's gone. She only cares about getting cleared to fuck again by the doctor.
And no one calls CPS.
Because they're rich, and whenever he's home, she like dotes on the girls. And they're infants, and so they're so relieved to be able to like eat finally that they're satiated and go to sleep. She still hates...
She's writing this down.
She still hates these damn kids, but stays because she's obsessed with Jeremy. She decides that one of them is the superior twin. She tries to choke the worse one with her fingers, but Jeremy walks in on her, and she pretends to be saving her instead.
Oh my god.
So things get rocky with Jeremy because Verity put the girls in daycare without telling him, and he also noticed that she likes one of the twins better. She tells him that it's not that she likes one better. It's just...
She hates one more? I don't like that one better. I hate that one less.
It's just that one of them is smart and the other is dumb. She says, no, objectively, one is better. Impulsively, she tells him she's pregnant again to distract him. And she's just going to pretend to have a miscarriage. She doesn't have to do the fake miscarriage because she gets pregnant anyway. They get a nanny so that she barely has to be a mom.
For the 3 kids?
Yeah. She pretends sometimes that she has to go to New York City to work, but instead she just gets an Airbnb down the road so she doesn't have to be with her family.
What does she do for work?
She's an author.
You know how, like, has anyone checked on Colleen Hoover's children? Fuck.
The good twin dies at a sleepover of a nut allergy. And Verity is convinced that it's the fault of the stupid one.
The stupid one.
She gets mad that Jeremy does not want to fuck or kiss her with tongue after the death of his 8-year-old.
Specifically kiss her with
specifically.
tongue. She was like, give me that tongue, though.
Very specifically, yes.
Who are you?
She says that she isn't that sad about it because...
Literally, you married a monster.
She knows it was the dumb one's fault that the smart one died. She wishes that she had offed the stupid one when it was a baby. That way it wouldn't have poisoned the better one with peanuts. Jeremy sleeps in the kids' rooms, and Verity is mad that they can't have sex more. One day, Verity is just feeling cunty. And
so her whole life, because she's a cunt her whole life.
She asks the twin that survived why she wasn't more sad that her sister, the superior twin, died. The little girl, she makes the little girl cry, obviously.
No,
and this is when Verity decides...
Tabitha, come here. I need to ask you a question. Why are you not more distraught?
Why are we stuck with you?
That your superior ulterior died.
So she decides that their lives would be better without the stupid twin that they're stuck with. She takes the 2 kids out on the lake, even though the girl can't swim very well. So she takes them out far enough that it will be hard to swim back. She grabs the boy, the 5-year-old boy.
You didn't tell me they were boys.
Yeah, the third child, non-twin, he was a boy. She grabs him, tells him to hold his breath, tips the canoe they're in over, and swims with him back to shore. The 5-year-old is distressed, so Verity decides to go back and pretend to save the girl, but she just doggy paddles around a little bit, and then she checks the canoe to make sure the girl didn't find any air down there, and she's very proud of herself for this performance of pretending to save her. Turns out the girl got caught in a fishing net that ironically Jeremy had lost in that lake the year before.
So the Jer Bear feels guilty.
Jeremy won't leave her alone with the kids anymore.
No shit.
And starts to find her behavior a bit suspicious.
Kids, he only has one left.
Oh yeah, with the kid anymore. You're right. The youngest child snitched on mom, telling Jeremy that she told him to hold his breath before she tipped the canoe over. So Verity wonders if Jeremy will ever forgive her since she spent so many years giving blowjobs and swallowing.
I'm sorry. If that's how you get forgiven for a homicide.
She says if he doesn't forgive her, she'll just wrap her car around a tree.
Go ahead. Here the keys.
Goes to black. That is the end of this autobiography. Now we open on Lowen. Lowen is on her way to a meeting with her agent at a big publisher.
Lowen did something in a previous life wrong to get a stupid ass name. That's what the sound that a cow makes.
The cattle are lowing. A man is hit by a car right in front of her, and his blood literally splatters all over her. She runs into a coffee shop to clean up and runs into the men's restroom and takes her shirt off.
I don't know that I would traumatize the coffee shop people with that. I don't think I would take that elsewhere.
Well, she's late for her meeting.
I don't think I would attend the meeting.
There's a man there who gives her the shirt off of his back. She gets to her meeting, and that same man is there. It's Jeremy. The meeting is with him. The people that she's meeting with amongst them is Jeremy. They want her to finish the book series that his wife, Verity, started as a co-author. Lowen is apprehensive to take the job because she's shy, and that would mean going on a book tour. Unfortunately, her mom promised her when she was dying that she would leave her all of the money in her bank account if Lowen would take care of her and lease a nice apartment for her to die in.
What?
She kept good on her promise. However, the amount of money in her bank account was nothing.
I'm sorry, what? So her mom is a con man.
Yeah, basically, she conned her daughter. And then on her deathbed, she was like, by the way, I don't have any money left. So Jeremy talks her into taking the deal. He tells her that Verity loved her books and that she can come up to their home and look through her notes and manuscripts.
I don't give a shit if your wife liked my books. What? My wife's a big fan of your. That's like being like, I die, right? And then you're like, hey, Stephanie Meyer, Eva loved Twilight. Can you come finish writing this shitty fan fiction she wrote?
No. No. It would be like if Stephanie Meyer died and they're like, Eva, Stephanie Meyer loved your fan fiction. Will you finish her series? Verity is very famous. Lowen is not. Lowen is a small-time author, introvert, mom recently passed away. Verity, early 40s, opposite of Lowen, world-famous author, vegetative state following car crash.
When I said, what is she doing with her time? You said, meh, not that much. Sometimes doing blah, blah, blah. You didn't say she had world-famous, had to do book tours and shit. She's over here murdering her children. She sounded like a stay-at-home mom who's casually murdering her kids and no one would notice.
You said, where is she going? What is she doing for work? And I said, she's going to New York for book meeting. You know what I love about this is that I have on recording, on paper, and on video that I did say these things to you. Jeremy talks her into taking the deal and tells her Verity loved her books and that she can come up to their home and look through her notes and manuscripts to get a feel of where she was going with the book series. Lowen is low-key sleeping with her agent. They did date for a while, but it turned out that he assumed she had a personality that was similar to the characters that she writes about. He was not interested when he found out that she was an introvert. She's getting evicted from her apartment.
Weird thing to assume, since if I assumed that Colleen Hoover had a personality like Verity, she should be in prison. A weird thing to assume that you're like the people you write about.
She's getting evicted from her apartment because it was too expensive in the first place.
Did her mom die already?
Yeah, and her mom left her no money. Her agent tries to get a goodbye fuck out of her.
You find books every single time. I know. He was like, you want to fuck me goodbye?
She does not give him the goodbye fuck, but he seems nice enough, though.
Why do you say that?
It
doesn't matter.
She drives up to this house in the New England country.
Also, always in New England.
Jeremy and Verity's son scares the shit out of her when she gets there. He's looming outside her car window, and he's kind of a little asshole. Jeremy says she can stay there as long as she needs to go through the stuff. He says he's only ever read one of his wife's books because he doesn't like to be inside of her head. What a butt.
What? How is he a butt?
For only reading
a whole murderer.
But
I wouldn't want to be in her head either.
But he doesn't know that, though.
He does.
He doesn't know that, though. And so he's just unsupportive of her. So Lowen is going through Verity's notes. She finds the autobiography manuscript. She thinks to herself that maybe she shouldn't be intruding on Verity's personal writings, but this does not deter her ultimately from reading it. While she's starting to read it, she hears creaking that sounds like a bed being bounced on, and she wonders if Jeremy is trying to fuck his paralyzed wife.
Or maybe the son is jumping on the bed.
It turns out it's just a special hospital bed that automatically shifts to prevent pressure ulcers. Thank God. He tells her that she can go ahead and stay in the master bedroom if she would like, because he doesn't like to be there anymore. He would prefer to stay closer to his wife in her special hospital outfitted room. The first thing she notices is that there are teeth marks on the headboard. Ew.
Whose teeth?
She assumes that the teeth marks are from people biting down.
People? What people?
Or from because she's in the master bedroom. So she assumes that someone has bitten down in the throes of pleasure. So she reads the chapter about the at-home abortion and is horrified.
Me too.
There is no doubt in her mind that this is true. She contemplates destroying the manuscript to save Jeremy's feelings. Jeremy invites her to drive into town with him, and she goes because she needs tampons. Later on, Jeremy is looking forlornly across the lake, and the 5-year-old cuts himself with a knife. He says, "Oh no, my mommy told me not to play with her knife." And he says it in like the present tense, which Lowen finds questionable. She rationalizes the fact that she's not working on the manuscript she's supposed to be working on in favor of reading this autobiography, saying, well, if I understand her better, I'll understand why she would have written these books this way. She and Jeremy bond over their sad lives while looking at old photos of his family, and they almost kiss, but then his kid walks in on them. This child is very distraught that his dad tried to kiss this random lady while looking at pictures of his dead sisters. She then tries to bond with the 5-year-old, and it works a little bit, but he's very apprehensive. She runs out of clothes, so Jeremy gives her one of his shirts to sleep in. She fantasizes.
Oh my god.
She fantasizes about being the one to put those teeth marks on the head and straddles a pillow, pretending to be Verity, sitting on Jeremy's face.
No!
She is interrupted from this highly inappropriate masturbation session by the creaky hospital bed.
Oh my god.
I told you would screech a lot.
I hate this. Why do people like this author?
I don't know. She sleepwalks and wakes up in the bed with Verity.
Not where I thought that was going at all.
Jeremy comforts her
Wrong.
back in her room instead of comforting his wife, who was minding her business when a rando got in the bed with her.
Well, isn't she in a coma?
How
are you going to comfort?
I don't know. Just like a nice pat on the shoulder or something.
You don't know he didn't pat her on the shoulder and then go comfort the Rockies.
Jeremy says, you know what? If it'll feel better, I will put a lock on the outside of your room and lock you inside of it.
What?
This feels fair considering that she did wake up in the bed with his wife.
He's like, actually, I'll just lock you all in your rooms at night.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll know where you all are.
The next day, they have white people taco night and bond some more.
Did it say that?
No.
Girl dinner.
No. He does start locking her in her room. He tells her that Verity actually never did read her writing. He read it.
I told you.
I
was like, there's no way that woman read that.
So she's done with her relevant research, but she doesn't have anywhere to go because she got evicted. So she stays at the house and pretends to be researching some more. Her birthday is coming, and so Jeremy sings her happy birthday and gives her some cake right at midnight. She is increasingly horny for him.
No.
And they finally kiss about it.
No.
While they're making out, she sees Verity standing on top of the stairs watching them and freaks the fuck out. They run up the stairs, but Verity is asleep in her bed. He cuddles Lowen, and they sleep in the bed together. She asks if Verity could be faking it, and Jeremy says no, he saw the scans himself. Now he gets a lock for Verity's door too, so he's just locking the ladies in their rooms. He's
gonna end up locking everybody in their room.
Lowen wants to snitch on Verity so bad that she's a really fucking evil bitch, but that's an awkward topic to breach with Jeremy.
I would have been like, hey, here it is.
So she keeps it to herself for now. Later on that day, she's making a birthday dinner for herself, and the TV in the living room mutes itself while Verity's in there alone. So she tries to trigger Verity into giving away that she might be faking it by saying, I'm going to fuck your husband in your bed tonight.
Oh my God.
She does not respond, but she does piss herself. Jeremy walks in and she plays it off saying, oh, your wife just needs a diaper change. She tells him he should just put Verity in a home. And he says, no, I'm not going to let my son lose another person. They kiss again, and she keeps her eyes closed in case she accidentally makes eye contact with Verity again. He's super hot. He has a great body. She says she's not on birth control, and he says, no big deal. I'll just pull out.
Ah!
She is wildly impressed that he lasts more than half an hour.
Oh my God.
She rides his face.
Why are you...
She puts her teeth into the same grooves in the headboard.
No, she does not.
Where Verity...
I'm gonna leave. You need to leave. I hate this. This is wildly horrible.
She puts her teeth into the same grooves that Verity had put there.
No.
She wants to
Their
bite.
teeth are the same shape.
They're close.
Orthodontia says no.
No, they literally talk about that. And she's like, it doesn't fit perfectly, but it's pretty close. And she wants to bite down harder and make a deeper imprint than Verity
Do you
left
remember
there.
when we talked about how that yes queen shit, like some of these don't need to exist? Someone need to tell this woman.
I do not agree with that because
Fuck off.
it is the audacity, you know? They do it in the shower and they do it in the bed. Yep. He says he's never felt this connection with anyone, not even his wife.
Clearly.
He gets up to leave because he doesn't want his son to get up in the middle of the night and
that is what's even more
him not be there.
Like his whole family's in the house.
Yes, they are. The door is locked from the outside.
You brought nothing to that sentence. I said his whole family's in the house. She said, yes, they are. Fuck out of here.
No, they are. He fucked this random girl he's known for 1 week in the house with his wife there.
And his child. Yes. My professional opinion is yes.
He goes to leave and the door is locked from the outside. He tries to call for the 5-year-old to come let them out of this room that he is sleeping in with someone who isn't his wife. They have to break the window to get out. Everyone is still asleep, and she makes up her mind to tell on Verity. Before she can do that, she reads about Verity killing the dumb twin. Jeremy comes into the room for an afternoon delight. He says that he thinks the door locking was a fluke.
I am, in fact, not delighted. I am, in fact, horrified.
I am very delighted.
Get wrecked.
He says he's going to go ahead and put Verity in a home, and he asks Lowen to stay for another week at the house. They bone again, and he cream pies her.
You know what? You can't do that to me because fuck out of here.
They bone again, and he cream pies her.
No! Stop! I hate it.
She does that thing where you let semen pool against your cervix. So she puts like a pillow under her bum.
Stop!
She decides it would hurt Jeremy more to give him the autobiography. It would hurt him more than help him. So she decides maybe she won't do that. Verity's going into a home anyway.
I want to go to a home.
She decides to eat Ritz and peanut butter with the 5-year-old. She tries to ask him about the canoe incident, and this makes him very uncomfortable.
This book makes me uncomfortable.
So he accidentally bites down on the peanut butter knife, and he cuts himself. So Jeremy has to leave and take the 5-year-old to the hospital, and he leaves Lowen to babysit Verity.
Absolutely fucking not. I'm sure down the fucking stairs.
She gets.
I hope this house falls off a cliff like the one in the other book.
So she does the smart thing. She gets a knife and a baby monitor and sets it up and then runs away as fast as she can.
A knife?
Yeah, to protect herself, just in case Verity's faking. She sits up in the office to watch Verity and finishes reading the story. Lowen watches the baby monitor. Nothing happened. The next morning, Jeremy's back from the hospital, from getting the 5-year-old stitches put in his mouth or whatever. Lowen has seamlessly assimilated herself into what used to be Verity's life. She's up making coffee for Jeremy. How are you, honey? Good morning.
She's become Verity.
Basically.
Weird, but okay.
She's in the office rifling through stuff and sees on the baby monitor that she had set up the day before that Verity is up out of the bed messing with some shit on the floor.
Ew!
She runs into the room and holds a knife to Verity, trying to provoke her. Jeremy rushes in and says, okay, you have to get the fuck out of here for holding a knife up to my paralyzed wife.
She's not paralyzed!
Lowen is butthurt that Jeremy would choose his paralyzed wife over a stranger he's known for 2 weeks and gives him the autobiography. It takes him 5 minutes to read it. It took her 2 weeks. She can see him on the baby monitor talking to Verity. He tells her he will go to the police if she doesn't answer him. Her eyes pop open. She sits up.
Bitch!
And starts pleading with him, saying she will explain everything.
What's everything?
He says, nah, girl, and starts to strangle her with his bare hands. Lowen runs up there. She says, no, stop!
First off, why?
Make it look like an accident.
Yeah, you should kill her, but make it look like an accident, though.
So he shoves his fingers in her throat to make her aspirate on her own vomit. So it looks like she just suffocated by accident.
So she died.
Jesus. He says they will wait till morning and make it look like she died in her sleep. And so it comes to pass.
Okay.
7 months later.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Yes. 7 months later, Lowen is 7 months pregnant. She and Jeremy are together. They are in love. They're selling this old house, and they have moved to the North Carolina shore. They're a family now, and the 5-year-old is in therapy.
Okay.
Understandably.
Right.
They have to go back to the house to get it ready to be sold. The 5-year-old runs in and says, I have to get my stuff from Mom's floor. She realizes why Verity must have been rummaging around on the floor when she saw her on the monitor that one time. So she goes to look and finds a letter addressed to Jeremy. This is what it says. By the time you read this, I will have left with the boy. It says that her editor told her to try this new writing style when they were at a dinner all together, saying that she should go back over her own life stories and put them in a new voice from the point of view of a villain. She makes a practice out of this, and it has made her so good at writing. That's why her series was such a success. She says that she decided to make the autobiography as a resource for other authors. She reveals through the letter that Jeremy had found the manuscript already and found the scene that she admitted killing the twin. That was the first time he tried to strangle her. He does what she had mentioned doing in her manuscript and runs her car into a tree. She woke up a few days later in the hospital and pretended to be in a coma because she was so screwed at that point. She's been biding her time to be able to leave with the 5-year-old. She's been trying to find the manuscript so that when she leaves, he can't use it against her. She says that she locked them in the room when she heard them fucking while she looked for it. She doesn't blame him and hopes they can be friends one day.
I don't understand.
Lowen has found in the floorboards a letter. Verity says,
Right.
By the time you read this, I will have left with our child. She says that her editor had told her to try a new writing style, saying that she should go back over her own life stories, putting a new voice into them and writing them from the point of view of a villain. She makes a practice out of this, and it has made her so good at writing that it has made her series a huge worldwide success. She says she decided to make this false autobiography as a resource for other authors.
So she didn't really kill the kid?
So Jeremy had found the manuscript already, and that's why it only took him 5 minutes to read it.
Oh.
When he found it originally, he got so angry after he read the scene of her killing the girl that he tried to strangle her. And then he knocked her out, put her in her car, put a cinder block on the pedal, and ran it into a tree. So that is what put her in this alleged coma. She decides to pretend that she's in a vegetative state. That way she can wait for the money from this book that Lowen is going to be writing to hit their account. And so that she can find this manuscript and destroy it. That way, once she disappears, he can't go to the police with it and make it look like she killed their daughter. So Lowen realizes after reading this that the reason it took him 5 minutes to read it when she showed it to him was because it wasn't the first time he read it. She freaks out, tears up the letter, flushes some of it down the toilet, and eats the rest.
Oh my God.
There's no way to know who was telling the truth. So she decides that she's going to be a really good person, and she will keep the fact that she usurped this lady's life and then murdered her to herself because Jeremy has enough to worry about. So the point of the book is that you don't know. So there's 3 characters and you don't know which one was truly the bad guy.
Because you don't know, Amy.
You don't know. Truly, it could be that Verity is the bad guy, that she wrote that letter to try to play it off. That is entirely possible.
Right, because, like, how are you going to, like...
They say multiple times that some of the stuff she says really feels like there's no way you could have faked it.
Right.
Like the girl does have...
life. You have a whole livelihood of, like, what?
Like that one daughter did have a scar from the hanger abortion. And the doctor had told them when the kids were born, oh, it could have been just from like them scratching each other in utero. But then a little baby newborn's fingernail isn't strong enough to like leave a long lasting scar on a child's head. And so that's an inconsistency that maybe she was lying, right? Or perhaps her husband is the bad guy because he never read any of her books. If he had read her books, he would have realized her writing style. And so maybe her husband is the bad guy for just straight up murdering his wife, period, after he left a net out there that killed the daughter. So really it was low-key partially his fault that the daughter died. and then he murdered his wife? Or is Lowen the bad guy because she was just bopping around, minding her business, and then she took this lady's life? She said, I want to put my teeth on the headboard, and she did.
That's fucking weird.
And then she ate the letter.
Or is the crime this author writing this weird teeth scene? If you've read this, you deserve compensation.
The thing about the book is that the worst part is that, like, the whole thing was so atrocious that it was maybe good until
was the whole thing.
Until the letter at the end. So where are they now? Well, Verity's dead. Where's Lowen? Where's Jeremy? Are they together? Do they have more children? And is that child still in therapy?
That kid is a douche at a private school somewhere who's like, my mom died, so I can get away with whatever I want.
So they only had one kid? I do
First
believe
off,
that.
he has 4 children.
Because Lowen just seems like a little
2 are dead.
Kind of like a little bitch. I don't think Lowen could handle pregnancy twice. So what's Jeremy doing?
I don't know.
What are they doing for work?
He has a bunch of money or whatever.
No, he doesn't remember. He wanted Rich Peen and he didn't have either.
Then how in the world was he the one working at that book place?
No, he went to negotiate the deal in Verity's place.
Oh, this is the worst.
But he does have a real estate license, so I guess he's selling real estate again.
No, he probably...
Are they living off the money from the books that she wrote? I'm wondering why no one noticed how quickly they got together after Verity died. Like, nobody in this... You know, she's a worldwide famous author. Nobody noticed.
The version of, like, when someone dies and the guy marries the nanny. And they're like, yeah, well, you need somebody to take care of the kid, though. I understand. And it's like, okay, but you weren't sad that she died? And he's like, well, I really need somebody to take care of the kid, though. Is that?
Happened to her original agent that was trying to fuck.
Fucked off. He wasn't attached. He went to, like, try and get a job for Justin Bieber.
If you like this super creepy book and you're into super creepy stuff, if you want to listen to a better podcast than ours, I would love to suggest the Chillers and Thrillers podcast, a semi-monthly podcast with true tales of paranormal encounters read by your host, M. New episodes are released on the 15th and 30th of each month. There is no skepticism, no comedy, and no true crime. Only spooky true tales of encounters with ghosts, demons, and more. We're even more excited about the Halloween episode coming up.
Just in time for Halloween on October 30th.
Oh, you can find the link in our show note. Thank you for listening to Read It and Screech. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can rate, review, subscribe, and find us on TikTok at ScreecherPods. You know how Cassian was like, put your hands on the headboard. Well, Jeremy said, put your teeth in the headboard.